Hey Pyromaniacs, D-Rex here to give you a next video. It's been a while since we did one, sorry, been working on other ends of the site, but here you go. And in this video we're going to talk about sleepers, deep sleepers, and what we're calling Rip Van Winkles. So super deep sleepers, 40 years worth of sleep. Alright, excellent stuff, and we're just going to kind of blaze through a bunch of players and talk about them and which status they're at, and think that these are the kind of players that can win you your league. I'm with Houdini.
I was gonna say, if they don't know, I'm Houdini here. So
Captain Stubing is next to me, and we're on a boat right now. So if it's a little bit loud, sorry about that. But we just wanted to go enjoy the last days of the summer, and we're out on a boat recording this video.
But we're still working, so there you go.
We're working. Good times. A lot of drafts happening. We released version 4 of our 2013 draft kit
today.
For PYRO. Today we launched it. So if you're watching this and you haven't gotten in your email, check your spam. Send me an email. I can send you a direct link. Don't worry. We're gonna. If you got an expired link for whatever reason, which you shouldn't, but if you do, you'll get one. Just email me and let me know.
And not only that, the tiers on there are unbelievable. You have all of our tiers for each position and our collective tiers all in one page. So pretty special, pretty awesome.
Completely agree. All right.
Let's get into some sleepers here.
Let's get into sleepers. First layer is sleepers, and Houdini and I will try and define how they are, but really, you can define sleepers however you want. You know, I think these first batch of sleepers are guys that would be wide receiver 4s, you know, who are first people off your bench. You know, maybe this is the 7 to 12 round in drafts. And first guy is going to be a guy that Houdini's high on, and that's Emmanuel Sanders, wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, the benefit that you have here with Emmanuel Sanders is that Mike Wallace is gone, number 1. Number 2, Le'Veon Bell just went down with a Liz Frank injury. So all the hopes that they really had of really going back to the running game, that's pretty much going to go out the window. And Ben Roethlisberger campaigned to have him be re-signed after they was signed by a tender by the New England Patriots. So here he is. He's looked very good in preseason, and I expect him to be a heavy target, and the Steelers expect him to get, they're hoping, and that's what they expect, 70 catches, 1,000 yards, and probably about 6 or 7 touchdowns.
I have a feeling he's going to be on a lot of Houdini's teams. I think he's a good player as well. Out of college, the year he came out, you know, Mel Kiper thought he was the best route runner, the most immediate football player there. Available in the draft. Now coming into his 4th year, he's really got a chance to do some things. I think he could be great, especially at a PPR level too.
Yeah.
Next guy, Jordan Cameron, tight end, Cleveland Browns. We're all high on this guy, and we actually have been bummed out that he's been doing so well. Last 2 games ago, he had 2 touchdowns. We're like,
and 2 great touchdowns too. There's like reaching
catches
out in the end zone and making an amazing catch. You know, it's unfortunate, but he's still not being viewed in most 10-team drafts as a starting tight end. And so if you have the opportunity to grab him as your backup, this is the one guy at the tight end position that probably has the biggest chance to make the largest jump from preseason ranking to actual finish ranking.
Yeah.
So much upside here. Brandon Weeden looks a lot better. That helps him too.
Okay. Talk a little louder just because we don't know how well this mic is working.
We're on the boat, okay.
We're used to having that nice microphone for our podcasts. Kenny Britt, contract year guy, ups and downs. You know, last year both his knees were messed up, and he still came out and had a couple good games. Not too many, but he this year it seems like he's pretty much through all those knee injuries, and at least, you know, ready to play and try and earn some money and stay in this league for a little longer.
Well, and the whole thing for him too is that he's playing for a contract. You know, so he's on the last year of his contract. His last 2 years, last year was subpar. The year before started out great and then ended with the injury, and he's not really shown 100% of that you know, skill that he had back then. So now he's coming back in 100%. Finally, for the first time in his career, really 100% with all injuries. All the stupid stuff in his past is gone now too. So
not too far in the rearview mirror.
A couple years now.
He's one party away from another stab fest.
Well, well, the benefit though for him is that he is falling way down in drafts. He's not being someone that's viewed now anywhere close to a starting wide receiver anymore. And again, he still has upside.
That's a good point. You got a runner on 1st and 3rd. We are on camera. You might want to take care of that. So another guy. A lot of these sleepers are Houdini guys, and you know, I'm kind of buying into it a little bit with this fella. But Deshaun Jackson, wide receiver, Philadelphia Eagles. He's going later than you would think. So he does become kind of this high-end sleeper where he probably is going to be a wide receiver 3, but on teams that allow that kind of formation. But he's a stud. he's gonna get a lot of opportunities to make some great plays. We
Well,
know he's done it before.
And he's done it in the preseason now, too.
Yeah.
So even with Jeremy Maclin out and all the other weird cast of characters that Chip Kelly has there and the mismatching that he's got going on, Deshaun Jackson is the guy. And I heard a guy in Philadelphia on the radio there. He was saying, Deshaun Jackson is going to be the main catalyst for this team. So, when you get a guy who's going to get potentially 40% of the targets of a team, I like it.
Yeah, no doubt. Awesome. Well, Deshaun, I think he's got all the opportunity, especially Macklin going down. I mean, he's going to get a lot of targets. Mark Ingram, Saints. To me, he feels like a guy. It's like you just keep on mentioning his name. It's our third year in a row mentioning his name, and we know he's a Heisman Trophy winner. We know all this stuff. He just doesn't fit with the system, in my opinion. He would have done it if he was, It's not like he's been really hurt or anything. He just hasn't done it. So I don't know. I'm not too high on him, but he is a good sleeper pick. You can basically get that guy like in the 12th round, maybe a little earlier, but and don't go too much higher for that.
No. But he's also been dinged up his entire career. Now he's 100% healthy. He dropped, I think, about 15 pounds. They say he's looking leaner, faster, and all this other stuff. You see him in preseason. He's looked pretty good, a little bit more explosion to his step. He's playing for a contract, so again, you're not going to be. You can probably get him as like your second backup running back, and I think that there's still good potential there if you're getting him at that value at that point. Not as your first backup, but as your second. I like it.
Cool. I'm staying away, but this guy I think we're all on board with. Vincent Brown, San Diego. Obviously we know that Denario Alexander, who had ranked real high in my first couple batch of tiers before he went down, out for the season. It just seems to me that Vincent Brown, if he can get over the injury and not get injured again, is in prime form to just make some things happen. He's a good baller.
Well, he's pretty much the last threat that Phillip Rivers has left. Antonio Gates is not a guy that can stretch the field, so he's always going to be your downfield threat. I believe he had 15.3 yards per catch average back in 2011 when he was brought in. He was actually catching a couple touchdowns then too. So he has the ability to make the plays. He's being forgotten. Everybody on San Diego is being forgotten. But remember, they still don't have a good running game there with Ryan Matthews. So they're going to have to rely on Phillip Rivers, and he's got to throw the ball to somebody. Vincent Brown's going to get an exorbitant amount of targets compared to where he's being drafted and the guys that are around him.
They got a passing coach down there now, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a dip and dunk offense where kind of like the last few years in Detroit, where it's like their running game is their short passing game.
Right.
Tight ends, backs, Woodfield, guys like Woodhead, and the guys, like we think here, Vincent Brown and even Gates are going to get a lot of opportunities within this short offense. So, Golden Tate, he's the number one wide receiver on Seattle, and everyone's so high on Russell Wilson. So when you don't see Tate amongst them, it seems like, how are people forgetting this guy that much? Where, he's going super late. Yeah. And, at very end of drafts, and I think he could be sweet. He hasn't had great. We did some pros and cons on him the other day. I think he's got like 100-yard game.
No, he actually. Well, what the thing was is he's not been a performer. I think the most yards he has in a season was like 600 and something yards that he had last year.
And it's like 36 catches a year.
But if you include the playoffs from last year, in the last 3 games that he played, he had two 100-yard receiving games. So there's potential there, and the fact is that he's a guy that is, maybe a later bloomer, but now actually has a quarterback who they've lifted the top off, and they can let him do whatever he wants. I think you can expect him to be a guy that is a candidate for 1,000 yards. I think he's going to fall a little bit short, though.
Cool. Well, yeah, Tate.
But where he's getting drafted, if you can get 900 yards and 6-7 touchdowns and 60 catches, I think I would be very happy with that.
And on this team in the preseason, there's been another guy that we'll talk about a little bit later that's playing wide receiver in Seattle as well that I really like as a late round flyer. So, all right, next guy we got here is Ryan Broyles. Coming back early, like everyone seems to be lately, at the hand of Mr. Magic, Dr. Andrews. And like they say, they come back stronger. We saw with AP, we saw certain freaks and really dedicated athletes, Marcus Lattimore even, RG3.
Right.
You can come back in these short. Kobe Bryant in basketball after, it's crazy. Remember Suggs tore his tendon. Achilles tendon in the preseason.
Unbelievable that
he
Super
came
Bowl
back.
Unbelievable.
So these guys, the medicine today is ridiculous.
Broyles
Broyles is the number 2 option on a team that passes way more than anyone else with Stafford.
727 pass attempts for Stafford last season. 727.
53 or 56 more than the next highest, Drew Brees.
Right.
I mean, he throws the hell out of the ball. So, next guy, Tyler Eifert, rookie, tight end. I mean, just the things that you're hearing about in camp. He basically seems to me like he's the number 1 target for the team for, a stout guy in a red rifle at behind A.J. Green. I mean,
Right.
That's a great place to be.
Well, and they're trying to relieve pressure off of A.J. Green, which is why even with Jermaine Gresham there, they're having 2 tight end sets a lot. So they want Eifert on the field as much as possible because he is such a threat when he's out there working that middle of the field and exposing the linebackers.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to him. He's a guy that's going late in picks.
Here's
he's
another
got
guy
high upside.
Another guy going late. How about Justin Blackmon?
I love him.
Here's a guy who's going to be suspended for the first 4 games, so everyone's just going to forget about him. But if you can plan ahead and you're looking into your fifth or sixth wide receiver, he might even still be there. It's ridiculous. He showed you the talent he had against Houston. 7 catches, 236 yards, and an 81-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
That's against Houston.
Yeah.
One of the better defenses at the time. So
he's a stud. You see him in preseason. He's suspended the first 4 games, but he's able to play with the team in preseason. I'm
looks
telling you
great.
right now, Gabbard is going to him often. Guy looks fast as hell and strong. He looks like a young Anquan Bolden out there, or a smaller, stouter kind of a Des Bryant, where he played the same school. Dude, the guy's going to be amazing. I'm going high on him. I feel like he's the kind of guy that I'll go a couple rounds high on. I missed those 4 games, but when he comes back, he's going to be delivering.
dynamite.
All right, T.Y. Hilton, your boy.
T.Y.
He's another guy that's
Another guy.
preseason himself out of this kind of
Yeah,
sleeper
so he may
status.
he may not be a sleeper anymore because he just makes touchdown catch after ridiculous touchdown catch week after week in the preseason. So
that last one, getting that other foot in, was just a thing of beauty.
story's out on him now. I still will take him if I have a chance as my wide receiver 3.
You'll reach
so
on him.
that's how high I am on him. But if you can get him at a wide receiver 4, that is an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, he's awesome. That kid's a little stud. D'Angelo Williams, you hear with Jonathan Stewart banged up, and I've always liked D'Angelo more. I like what he can do. If Stewart's out at all, D'Angelo's been able to light it up a lot more than we've seen on tape than Stewart.
Well, that was a conversation that we had about a week ago, talking about just what runs do you remember by Jonathan Stewart?
Nothing.
I can't remember a run.
Yeah.
But you can remember every big run that D'Angelo made. So here's a guy going to get more of the opportunity. That's always been the problem for the running backs in Carolina.
Yeah.
So if he gets the opportunity, this is a great chance to take on him, especially because where he's going in drafts is you can almost be your 4th running back.
His touchdowns always seem to come from 20 yards out, which is nice for any league, but especially touchdown added length kind of leagues. Fred Davis, tight end for RG3. RG3 is going to have to drop down and throw a lot more and not be able to run as much as he has. That's a good spot for him. And I think Fred Davis, he seems like he's fully back and healthy, and he's going to have a nice season for sure.
He's been one of the stories of the camp for the Washington Redskins because his ability, again, when you have those mismatches at tight end, and here's a guy who's a freakish type of an athlete, and he has become, next to Garcon, the next person that he looks for in the offense to throw the ball to. So, in RG3, the one thing that we do know about him as a rookie, he was an extremely competent passer. What did he throw, like 4 interceptions?
Yeah.
His completion percentage is up around like 63, 64. There's no reason not to believe that when it gets to this year, as he develops 67, 68% completion percentage. That only helps everyone on that team that's a receiver, especially Davis and Garcon.
RG3 is a passer first. That's how he learned. That's how he was trained by his dad and coaches when he was young. He just happened to have the 6 speed that he just added that element. So Aaron Dobson, you got Tom Brady. Seems like a great opportunities for this guy. And we know that Welker's gone. We know that Amendola's clavicles aren't very good to get with getting hit. So he's going to have an opportunity for sure to do some damage. And if you get on the good side of Tom Brady, watch out.
Well, I'll tell you this too. Aaron Dobson's probably the guy that's been that rookie flavor of the month when people are looking at rookie wide receivers and they know Tom Brady's there and that he's going to be the one. If he don't reach for him.
Yeah.
Because we have another guy that's also on that team that might actually be just as close and maybe outperform Aaron Dobson, who you can get a lot later. So we'll bring him up
and
shortly.
there's even a guy that Dog's kind of high on that's coming out of nowhere.
Right, another one too, right.
Another rookie on that team, so it's craziness. Just temper any rookies. It's very unlikely that they have 1,000 yards. I know AJ Green and a couple others did, and have a lot of touchdowns.
None of these guys are AJ Green.
Yeah, Jerry Rice had like 745 yards his first season. Calvin Johnson, similar numbers.
Right.
All right. Deep sleepers, Austin Collie. So we've moved on to now. Let me make that a big. Deep sleepers. These are guys that are a little bit further down the
or you're in a
12,
14 team league, 16 team league, and these are guys that are now after that section. You're looking at 12 team league. This is one of my last picks. If you're in a 14 team league, you're looking at this is a guy who might have to start for me a week or two, and I need to get some good potential out of him.
Awesome. All right. Austin Collie's our first one.
Yeah.
Seems like he's going to be the guy that takes the Michael Crabtree role. If he can stay healthy with the concussions, he's got that game plan. He runs great routes. He's quick out of his breaks, and he's got some good speed. He's done it before. He's in a good opportunity. So if he does win the number 2, like we think, or at least get the slot stuff, he's a great.
Let me settle it for you. He'll be a starter for that team.
Yeah.
Because they traded away A.J. Jenkins to bring in Jonathan Baldwin. Well, Jonathan Baldwin didn't do anything in Kansas City. He's going to have to learn this offense.
Yeah.
Here's a guy, Collie, that
he
just
was having a
comes
hard
in.
time learning the Kansas City one. Then they got the new regime in and it was like he never even learned the previous.
And think about how many different formations the 49ers have in their system. So it's going to take him a while. He's a project. Collie is a guy who's a veteran who just picked things up right away.
Was off the whole season last season because of a concussion, so he's nice and fresh and ready to go. So Collie, he's on the best. You got Kaepernick throwing you pills on one of the best teams.
We picked him in our 16-team expert league, and we're very happy with that.
Very happy late pick.
I got him in my 16-team keeper league as well. Very happy with that.
And sorry for that outside barking and noise, but we are on a public lake, and if I start telling people to shush, I'll feel like a real bully.
Since we're probably annoying them more than they're annoying us.
Trying to talk loud over here to ourselves. People are like, what the hell are these guys doing? All right, next guy, Terrence Williams, wide receiver, Dallas Cowboys. Let's just make it simple.
He's the number 3.
Yeah, if you're the number 3 on a Tony Romo team of the last 5 years, you have got a wealth of opportunities ahead of you.
Right.
Simple as that.
Lawrence Robinson, look what Ogletree did in the first game last year. It's always going to be there. If he's good, and which he is, he could outperform Miles Austin maybe.
That was a guy that was doing a lot of the big play stuff for RG3 at Baylor. Big time player. Just has a couple off field issues.
This next guy, we'll be trying to be quicker about these guys too. Michael Floyd. Michael Floyd playing for the Arizona Cardinals now has Carson Palmer there. That addition, and he is just supposedly, obviously he worked out with Larry Fitzgerald in the offseason. So
who didn't? I'm gonna start working out with Larry Fitzgerald in the offseason. I'm in.
So the fact is that he, in this offense with Bruce Arians that likes to show the vertical game as well, he's going to get opportunities. He's going to have a couple games. I'm not saying he's going to be the most consistent guy in the world for you, but he's definitely going to have a couple games where he flat out just could win you a week as a bye-week replacement guy.
I agree. He's sweet. Another guy we've got that used to be really high at the beginning of the offseason, heading into the draft and whatnot this summer. We really liked Brian Quick. We thought he was going to get that opportunity. He was a second-round pick last year. Big player, 6'4", kind of has some speed, was a total stud in college, and he just doesn't seem to get it. And Tavon Austin now is in there, and Chris Givens was doing great last year and just seems to be, I don't know, he seems to be getting lost in the mix, so that's too bad. But still, if you're sitting there at the end and you're just going to take another vanilla Nate Washington pick that at its highest upside is marginal 3 catches, 4 catch game, maybe he's got one game with 100 yards, but I mean a lot of duds. This guy, he could turn it on mid-season and no turning back.
And that's the thing. He's got raw physical talent. So if you want to take a chance on a guy, it's good to take a young guy that's got raw physical talent.
I love these ciders. Go on, Houdini.
And let's talk about another guy, a guy that we're really high on. It's going to be the under-the-radar rookie of them all. It's Robert Woods. Robert Woods coming out of USC. We loved him when we saw him in the combine. He was looking great.
Yeah.
Now he goes to Buffalo.
Sure-handed guy.
And he's definitely going to fall now, too, because with Buffalo, E.J. Manuel having the injury and the surgery, people may be shying away because it's Kevin Cobb. But look for Robert Woods. He's going to be a guy that can be solidly consistent, you know, and giving you nice numbers out of a rookie position too. So if you have to start a rookie player too, I like waiting, and you can grab a guy like Woods.
EJ Manuel and Robert Woods, while this is a stretch, if they both are as good as I think we think they are, could be like the second coming of a start. And maybe, you know, Manuel won't be this great, but of like a Peyton Manning and a Marvin Harrison.
There you go.
You know, I think these guys are going to grow up together and be pretty awesome. So, next
another guy that was under the radar as far as wide receivers, Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, exactly. Terrell Pryor lit it up last night when he got in there. You know, it looks like he can run as a quarterback in the way Cam Newton can at the next level. So that's the big worry with him. You know, he's not much of a passing quarterback, but if he can scramble around and do what he did last night on that like 25-yard awesome touchdown.
What does it matter if he's a passing quarterback? He's playing for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Matt Flynn was back there. The Bears were basically in the backfield on like every play. The reason that Terrell Pryor is going to be the quarterback and Flynn's going to lose it like he did last year in Week 3 to Russell Wilson is going to be the same thing here with Terrell Pryor, because the line can't block anyone, and Pryor can get away from him and still either run or maybe make a pass.
He could buy some time.
Yep.
I was high on Pryor early. He's going to be their starting quarterback. Mike Glennon, another guy.
Yeah.
I'm saying the leash is short on Freeman. If you get banged up, anything of that nature, who knows what can happen. It's a hard-hitting game. Glennon, if anything happens to Freeman or he sucks it up, is going to get an opportunity and might seize it.
Sucking it up is what it is. Look, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers spent money on the team. They brought in Darrelle Revis. You have Doug Martin, who you were amazed with after last season. You brought in Vincent Jackson last year. You got Mike Williams, who performed back to his rookie level. So all the pieces are there. Freeman had a horrible completion percentage. If they go 1-4 to start the season, Glennon's in.
Yeah, I like Glennon. He's a guy that I'm going to take as a flyer in any league I'm in. Guy's got high upside. They got a good team. Brandon Weeden. You know, you've been kind of showing me the light on him more than anybody else. He looks good. Everyone's talking him up. He won the job, no problem. Not that, you know, our guy that's been on 3 teams in a row, Campbell, was really going to give him any run for his money.
But that's the whole point, though. There was a whole new organization of GM and, the coaching staff and everything. So they brought in all kinds of competition for him. And they said, we're going to make Brandon Weeden prove to us that he's ready to take this role. And he did. You know, so then the other benefit is that it's working in a Norv Turner offense. So you know that that's a good thing when you're working in a Norv Turner offense, because, you know, that's why we see what's happening in the development of Jordan Cameron. And you got Josh Gordon, who's going to be suspended for the first 2 games, I believe, but then he comes back and you add that deep threat for him. You got Trent Richardson, who they're projecting, 60 catches for.
Yep.
So that helps Brandon Weeden. And this is a guy who you can have probably as a 23rd, 24th quarterback off the board.
Absolutely. All right, next guy. I don't know. Oh, I like this guy.
Yeah, you like this guy. You like this
Ruben Randall. I'm a fan. You know, you got Nick's Bitchlep. Nick's always banged up. You got Cruz, who's actually banged up. Yeah, in a walking boot right now, which isn't good. And he was already the wide receiver 3. So, and I think that's a good place for him to be. He seems to really get it and be ready to contribute on that team.
Yeah, I'm down.
Travis Kelce, tell me about this guy, Kansas City tight end.
Well, here's the guy. You know, they had Tony Moeaki there, and did they bring in Anthony Fasano as well? And they drafted Travis Kelce. So what does that tell you? It tells you that it's also an Andy Reid offense where he does like to have a tight end, but he wants to find the one. And everything that we've seen in training camp and through the preseason, Travis Kelce has been the one that has been very impressive as a rookie. Tony Moeaki is almost basically down to the number 3 spot. I hate to say it for my Iowa guy, but he's down there. He's at the number 3 spot. So it's like,
Joik Bell, you like the guy.
Joik Bell, here's the thing about Joik Bell. Mikhail LaShore sucked last year.
Yeah.
Okay,
he was good at sucking bongs.
Right. And he was coming off of the injury, but he didn't have any burst. As we said, he looked like old Michael Turner.
Yeah.
He was scoring touchdowns, but the fact is, Joik Bell can score those touchdowns too. And Joik Bell had 52 catches last year.
Wow.
So there's a guy that, if they bring Reggie Bush out, if they put him in LaShore, pretty much all defenses know that you're going to run the ball. You put in Bell, you have the other option, and play action and everything else works better. He'll be the second running back there. That's why I dropped Mikhail LaShore in all my keeper leagues.
If anything should happen to Arian Foster, which both Houdini and my other partner, Dogmatic, believe will happen, Ben Tate is the next in the line, and we know what you get as far as opportunities, carries, and touches, and targets. It's plentiful. So if anything happens to Arian Foster and Ben Tate can possibly stay healthy, that guy is sitting there and he's going to have 1,400 yards and have a lot of touchdowns.
As long as he stays healthy.
Stays healthy. That's
he
hard
did it that rookie year when Arian Foster went off. He still had 934 yards rushing.
It was big. Kenny Stills, that's one of your boys. He's a rookie wide receiver on the Saints. What are you thinking?
Well, they lost Robert Meacham, Devery Henderson, and Joe Morgan got injured, who had that role before as that deep threat. Kenny Stills has the ability to be that guy. He's got good size. He's got good speed. He's been Drew Brees has been really fond of him and has been tweeting about him and everything. So if your quarterback's tweeting about you, I feel good about the possibility. So if I'm in a late
I think
draft,
we're going to find out that Drew Brees has been Snapchatting Kenny Stills. There's going to be some sort of crazy
Manti Te'o coming out here,
he's
catfish coming.
Catfish.
Hey.
They're all involved.
You never know.
Snapchat.
You never know.
Centered around Brett Favre's.
And Kenny Stills, I think he was the one that had didn't he have the cornrows at the combine?
Yeah. They should have named Snapchat Brett Favre Chat. Brandon LaFell
and Anthony Weiner Chat.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That guy's a madman. He can't stop.
No.
He can't help himself. LaFell, that's your guy.
We talked about it in the podcast before. Really like his potential. Again, a guy who's a later bloomer. But Cam Newton finally getting under this offense. He's a guy that he looks for. Steve Smith's going to get the double teams. He's still going to get plenty of opportunities, and he's looked good in preseason again. Nice.
Kembrell Tompkins, I think that's the second guy that we were talking about from the New England Patriots. This guy could be great. He's got some size, a little bit elusive, and it seems like he's making the plays when Brady gives him a chance.
He's been the guy that has been actually the talk of the camp. Aaron Dobson is a guy that everyone just assumed he's going to be in that position. He was the talk of the camp early, but all of a sudden, Kembrell Tompkins just starts making plays. Yeah. So here's a guy that, as I said, people may be jumping on Dobson in the 7th or 8th round. Let him. Okay, if you're going to wait until the 14th or 15th round, you're just going to go Kembrell Tompkins, and the person who's got Aaron Dobson is going to go, who? Oh, he's behind my guy. You're going to be like, you're wrong.
And maybe not for long. So we'll see. I agree. It's a pretty good pick. I like this guy, Jeff Cumberland. He's already had a couple touchdowns in preseason. He's a tight end that actually made some plays down the stretch last year. Bigger dude, but he's kind of elusive. He kind of is the same size as that Dwayne Allen guy, or an old school when he was bigger, Antonio Gates. Or when he was more elite. Maybe the guys used to be smaller.
Yeah.
The olden days.
The olden days when a defensive end weighed 232.
Sweet life. All right, let's get to the Rip Van Winkles.
These guys are
sleepy as hell.
40 years worth of sleep here.
Sleepy as hell. In our expert league that we just wrapped up 2 nights ago, the last pick of our draft is a 16-man league, and we're really happy with this one. We took a Percy Harvin, second to last pick in a really, really lot. That was pick number 295 or something.
But here's the benefit of it. Okay, we look at it and we say we love the rest of our draft. And if you're in this situation, this is what you have to do. I love the rest of my draft. I don't think I'm really going to have to make too many adjustments to my team. I think my team is going to be in the playoffs. And you know what? If I get to the championship game, and if that's the only game I get out of Percy Harvin, which could be potentially the 2nd or 3rd week that he's back, so that you know that he's been worked into the offense, that becomes the most genius pick in the world, because you just added a top, even at that point, coming off the injury, I'll call him a top 20 wide receiver to your team for a last pick in the draft, or second to last pick.
Agreed. And the word is out of Seattle is oh no, he's not done. He's going to come back. He's going to be playing. He's going to contribute. Now they'll start him slow, so you miss a few games, but I think by about week 9, week 10, he's going to be back in there running routes on Sunday, and I think that's just like you said, hooks you up in those playoffs where week 13, 14, 15, and then God bless if you're in it 16, you got a guy like Percy Harvin, who before his injury was top 5 wide receiver on anybody's list.
Right, and working with an offensive coordinator that he worked with in Minnesota.
And a better quarterback than he's ever had in his whole NFL career. Vance McDonald, this guy's sleepy, but we love him. If anything happens to Vernon, wow, that team's screwed. But this McDonald is going to be playing this year. He's a rookie. He's tough. He's a stout kid. I think he went to Ole Miss or something.
Yeah.
But
well, here's the other part. Look at what Delaney Walker was a big part of the 49ers offense. So now, especially with the lack of losing Michael Crabtree and what they're trying to do there with Colin Kaepernick can get the ball to multiple people because he's got so much mobility. Vance McDonald's going to be primarily a blocking type of a guy. But you never know. Here's a guy that you can take late in the draft. He might be the guy when Vernon Davis is getting double teamed around the end zone that he gets 6-7 touchdowns on 12, 14 catches on the year. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And that's fantasy points, though.
I like him. They say, he's a great blocker, so he's going to be in the game a lot.
Right.
They're going to, the way, like you said in a couple players ago, the formations that you get for Baldwin, the formations you get out of the Niners, they're going to do some trickery. They're going to do some, go to the guy that the other team is thinking least about. Vance McDonald can make catches.
Let me give you another guy, Zach Sudfeld. This is another tight end. This is another guy on New England. Another rookie on New England. Zach Sudfeld has been the guy that stepped up. Jake Ballard was there. Didn't cut the mustard. So they've actually had Sudfeld running in Aaron Hernandez's role in the offense, not murdering people, just in the offense, executing the offense, not executing, just performing the offense. So while he's out there, that means when Gronkowski comes back, he's already preparing to run those other routes. So he's not just learning Gronkowski's role and then he's out of his spot when he comes back. So they're going to envision, this guy is a 6th round pick out of Nevada, has done nothing but impress in the preseason, and had a touchdown. I don't know if he had a touchdown, but he had a couple of really nice catches in their second preseason game.
Awesome. Jermaine Kearse, this is my guy. Made a couple touchdowns in 2 games ago in the preseason. One was a return, so he's doing the returns. If you're in a league that rewards for returns in the same way that you were excited with the Percy Harvin last year on Minnesota or this year on Seattle, he's getting those kind of extra total yard type of situations that really add up when you're doing the kickers. Think about a guy like Antonio Brown 2 years ago when he had 1,000 yards in return and 1,000 yards receiving. It's a lot of points. I really like this guy. We'll just keep an eye on him. I think Sidney Rice keeps going to Europe to get his hip checked. He's not right. This other guy's making plays, looking quick out of his routes.
And Russell Wilson's a young quarterback, and he's made a connection with him. If a quarterback finds chemistry with the receiver finds the field.
Yeah, and you know the way that Russell Wilson is. He likes to get to the small guys because he's one.
Right.
He wants to get it to Golden
Napoleon
State.
complex.
Yeah. He's like, see, we can do it. We can do it in this league.
I'll give you a Napoleon complex. Here's Kirk Cousins. How about Captain Kirk Cousins? We're on a boat. Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
So
Captain's log.
This is a great Rip Van Winkles sleeper because Russell Wilson is still an injury risk no matter what. If he makes that run and forgets what he was been thinking about.
Kirk Cousins, you mean RG3. RG3, Kirk Cousins is
what did I say?
You saw Russell
Wilson. I'm sorry, RG3. RG3 is a guy, Russell Wilson's smart when he runs the ball. RG3, if he hasn't learned from last year and takes a hit and potentially goes out, now all of a sudden we saw Kirk Cousins come in and be very valuable. Now we heard the ludicrousness of John Gruden.
Yeah.
I'll give up a 1st-round draft pick for Kirk Cousins.
It's ludicrous? I kind of agree. We loved him all offseason.
Yeah.
Given the opportunity, this guy can put up some victories for Washington. He's a player.
It's just a point, though. If you're in a deep league or you're looking for something that could be a neat payoff at the end, bank on the injury. Grab this guy if you have the
keeper league. Maybe this trade does happen, and they're able to get something big for him, and they move him, and then now he's all of a sudden the quarterback of the Raiders or whatnot, or Tennessee.
Hopefully not the Raiders.
Yeah. All right. The next guy, a guy I love, is Christine Michael.
Yeah.
I really think that Marshawn's going to get banged up this year. I know he's been very, very healthy the last 2, and I like the way that guy plays. But this Christine Michael, when given the opportunity, is going to make people forget about the name Beast Mode. This guy is a horse, and I'm taking him in every league I'm in, and I've got high hopes for the guy that he's going to do some great damage even this year. I'm thinking of Bernard Pierce from last year.
Guaranteed though, if you're in a dynasty league, you got to grab that guy.
Yeah. If you're in a dynasty league, in 2-3 years, he's the best running back in the league. We feel the same way about the next guy I'm going to mention, and that's Marcus Lattimore.
Yeah.
If you're in a dynasty league or a keeper league for the future, you just need this guy because he's going to be on the best team in the league, running as the #1 running back either next year or for sure in 2 years. What?
So you're telling me that in my 14-team keeper league where I had 2 rookie picks this year and I got Marcus Lattimore and Christine Michael, that I'm looking pretty good in a couple years?
The best running backs in the league. Those 2 guys will be like in the next year.
I know it.
I believe it. So
I'm on board.
He's
I'm
a great
on board
pick.
the boat.
He'll be fun. Last year I told you draft Colin Kaepernick. Alex Smith, blah blah blah. I knew he was going to be hurt and be out. Kaepernick was a stud. 2 years ago, I was telling you Tebow, even though Orton was the #1 quarterback then, and I was saying grab Tebow, he's going to get the points. And here, my guy this year is that Christine Michael. So
I'm with you.
All right, the next dude is Blaine Gabbert.
Here, Blaine Gabbert, okay, he won the job over from Chad Henne, and we were all behind Henne.
Yeah, we were Henne bound.
We talked to Maurice Jones-Drew.
We
He
did.
told us that Blaine is his guy.
Yeah, he said he always was his guy.
He said always was. So, and if you look at the last performance before he slammed his thumb on a player's helmet, I think he was like 12 for 15 and looked fantastic throwing the ball.
He had command.
So, again, having Maurice Jones-Drew back in that offense is only going to help Gabbert. And this is another guy like Whedon who's going to be, no one's going to be targeting him.
Absolutely.
No one's going to take him.
Absolutely.
But there is upside when you have Cecil Shorts, Justin Blackman, and a healthy Maurice Jones-Drew.
Couldn't agree more. Nick Toon is another Rip Van Winkle for us. This is a guy who's got great lineage. He's Al Toon's son. He's got the body. We know that Marquise Colston has himself said he's not 100%. He doesn't know if he ever will be. He looks a little run down and old. He's never as fast in the first place. Nick Toon had a nice long bomb in the last couple games ago for him.
Which is not really his game, though.
Yeah.
He's a total possession type receiver. So the thing with him is that if you really think that Colston is going to go down and then Colston's going to have that problem, or Lance Moore too, because those are the two guys that work those other underneath routes. That's where Toon is the first replacement for.
I personally will take a Toon, I think, over at Kenny Stills, but I just need to see more game type.
Oh no, I don't think so. I think you're wrong on that one.
No, I just need to see more.
We're on record.
I really stay away from, to be honest, that team and just kind of in general.
Yeah.
All right, the next one we got is Bryce Brown or Chris Polk. Whoever kind of gets the bulk of the carries there. Keep your eye on those guys.
This is
bothering me. Opportunity.
It is bothering me because Bryce Brown should have had this job, and Chris Polk has just come in and he has been getting the lion's share of the work because Bryce Brown couldn't get on the field. Yeah. It always sucks when you can't get on the field, and now he also had the fumbling problem. So he needed to be on the field and showing that he's over the fumbling, and that's why Chris Polk is a danger. So, and you got Chip Kelly, who hasn't really announced anything with his lineup.
He's got no loyalty to anybody. He's starting from scratch.
Right.
Andre Brown, New York Giants. We know everyone's high on David Wilson. What happens if he starts fumbling again? There's no way David Wilson's going to be the red zone or goal line back.
Brown's still the goal line back.
He's going to get opportunities. He had a great season last year.
Right, and again, he showed it on tape. He did it when he had the chance. So Andre Brown, especially like if you're in a dynasty or not a dynasty, an auction type league, here's a guy that David Wilson's going to go for like $25, $26, maybe $30, and you can grab Andre Brown for anywhere from probably like $8 or less, maybe even $5.
Awesome. You're such a nerd.
It's good value.
Okay, Roy Helu is
it's good value.
Roy Helu's a guy that's coming on the scene because he's over his injury, and if Alfred Morris gets banged up, this is the only other guy that can do the pass protection, catch the ball, and actually can run the ball a little bit. He's got some size to be an every down back. So
his benefit is that Alfred Morris has said he's been working on his passing receiving game, but the fact is he only had 11 receptions last year. So Roy Helu is a guy who I think had about like over 50 receptions the year before that. So there's a guy that can fit into that, easily be the change of pace and third down back for them.
Last Rip Van Winkle, and we're going to shut down this video. Good stuff. Sleepers. Deep sleepers.
This is a
the
deep
last one. Rip Van Winkle, Bilal Powell. The guy that was on a lot of people's radars mid-season last year, a big pickup guy, definitely played for teams in a lot of leagues, but has fallen off because, they've got Chris Ivory and they traded him recently, all this stuff.
Let me give you the good news.
Give the good news.
Chris Ivory is a guy that's been injury-prone in his career. The Jets have already come out and said that they envision Ivory as just a guy who gets about 15 carries a game. So if he's getting 15, that means that they're splitting it up amongst other people. If Ivory does go down, because he's never played a full season and been the main workload guy, Bilal Powell then steps into the role. Is it that great? No, but if you're in a deep-ass league, this is the Rip Van Winkle, man. Give us a little break here, right?
I love it. I love it. Deanie, nice work. Let's do it. You know what? We're gonna start. We're gonna start the engines up, but we got the anchor down.
Yeah, and we're in a no-wake zone.
No, it'd be nice to do a little bit. Show the people on the camera.
Give them a panoramic.
Yeah, give a little panoramic. There's a little close up. D-Rex, thanks for listening. That's a little close up on a Houdini. This is Coverdale Lake. It's a no wake lake, and we're having a pretty good time on it. No wake meaning you can't do suck my wake stuff and go wakeboarding and go real fast, but really serene and beautiful. And me and Houdini are doing a Camp David here in Long Lake, and this is Coverdale Lake, Michigan. Pyromaniac.com out.
Later.
Thanks, guys. Let us know with any questions you guys got with all these drafts coming up. Second opinions on our website. You can send us emails like a lot of people do. Twitter, Facebook. Make it happen. All right, guys. Cheers.